Well, hello everybody, welcome back to the studio. It's been a minute since we've been in here and filmed some makeup videos, so here we are, my friends. Gotta get everything ready for Everyday May, you know what I'm saying? Everyday May is but a week away, and I can't wait to have a month of fun videos with you. But today, that is besides the point, because today we're doing a full video, a full face of makeup artist tips. I love learning from the professionals who are far, far better at doing their makeup than I am. And it's also fun because it's a way for me to get some fun new tips that I can try to incorporate into my own makeup doing without rushing out to buy a billion other products. So everything that I'm using today are products that I already had existing in my collection, and we're gonna try and just switch it up and do some fun looks. So I saw two separate videos, one from Painted by Spencer and one from Makeup and Mario at a Sephora event. Honestly, I was just creeping through some videos on YouTube and stumbled upon these, and I was like, hello, yes. So I'm gonna attempt to do the Soft Glam Face by Painted by Spencer, and then I'm gonna attempt to do the Eye by Makeup and Mario. And those two combined, hopefully we'll learn a billion new things to add into our makeup, repertoire? Our makeup abilities. Anyway, let's try to learn from the best of the best. I'd also like to state that I have my laptop here that I'm going to be referencing. Also, I hope you don't mind. I wanted to keep my blowout looking fabulous. So this is going to be flopping around as we go. Let's start out with the eyes, shall we? Makeup and Mario did a lovely little prep of the eyes just using concealer and his setting powder. So no problem. I'm going to take my Tower 28 concealer in a lighter shade, might I add. And I'm just going to blend that out all over the lid just to cancel out any pigmentation, veins. I've got all of the above all over my eyes. And in this particular video, he actually prepped it off camera. And I love it so much when makeup artists do this and they don't use a separate primer, because it's like, use what you already have. We've got concealer. Perfect. It's going to be nice and grippy. It's going to brighten up the eyes. And that's all you need. Stunning. Okay, I did pull out my Makeup and Mario setting powder because that's the one he used in this video, so perfect. Mine's the shade Fair Pinks. This is also gonna have a nice little brightening effect, so I'm going to apply that onto the lid as well, just to set that all in and get it nice and prepped for eyeshadow. So the look that he created in this video kind of looked like the classic Kim Kardashian smoky eye. It looks like a smoky eye, but it also looks so natural and lived in and just looks seamless, and the man just spends like 20 minutes just blending out tiny little bits of eyeshadow, making it so perfect. And I hardly ever have that kind of patience when I'm doing my makeup, so I'm gonna do my best to follow suit. And obviously while we do it, I'm gonna use the gorgeous Makeup and Mario palettes, the Master Mattes. This is the Master Mattes, the neutrals. This is the lighter of the two. The original Master Mattes palette is a little bit deeper, a little bit warmer. I like this one because it has some of the lighter mattes in there for my very, very pale self. And these are just amazing. If you're looking for the perfect neutral palettes, these ones are always in my collection. So a few things to note. I'm not gonna be following the exact shades that he used because the gorgeous model that he was using in this video has skin much deeper than I. So I'm gonna be doing my best to kind of mix and match as I go. And the one thing he did say in this video is that he always mixes shadows. He hardly ever uses just one. So I'm gonna be playing a lot with these, starting out with this. I'm just gonna mix these two lighter shades, and the one thing he also said was he dabs the brush into the palette and then puts it off on the hand, so there's no excess product. And when I'm telling you that he went in with so many soft, light layers, and even for this, like using the lightest medium shades to blend into the outer corner, like usually I would just go right in with a medium shadow. I wouldn't even start with the lightest, I would just go bam, right away. So even doing a little mixing here and just so softly blending that in, like it's hardly deeper than my skin tone, yet it is. Like when I apply it, I'm like, whoa. In the palette, I look at it and I'm like, it's not that deep. And then I put it on and I'm like, oh, okay, Mario. Okay. So just blending that on the outer corner, the outer V of the eye, and up into the crease, and just trying to be so soft with it, as you do. And again, dabbing it out on my hand before I apply it and just building up that shade. I would also like to note, I'm just gonna be showing you the left side today. We'll do the left side together magically here, and then my right side will magically be done. So this is what we're doing. Look at how soft and blended that already is. I feel like Kim Kardashian already. Okay, now we're gonna take the same mixture and apply that onto the lower lashes, which I haven't put anything on my lower lashes. Actually, I haven't done concealer or anything, but maybe that'll be fun. And just in case we need to clean anything up later, I'm kind of down, sure. And I usually try to avoid concealer on my lower lash line anyway, so perhaps this will help with that. Cool. He also used a Q-tip to clean up any of the edges. I'm just gonna use a clean brush. Not that there's like much to clean up anyway. Like this is so soft and light, but just in case there was anything, I'm just gonna move that around. Again, I can't believe how light this is, but how effective it is. making an impact. Bam. The next thing he did was taking a light matte shade, not the lightest, but the second lightest, which for me, this one's pink, kind of peachy, if you will. So we'll see how this goes. And he applies this just to the top of the brow bone, where us classic, 2016 era makeup gals would probably take this all the way, at least I would. I would take this all the way down my brow bone and connect it to my face highlight, but he was like, no, that'll drag the eye down, which I thought was interesting. I've never heard that before. So he was like, just put it at the top of the brow bone there. Just a little bit, just a little dab. Did that lift my eye? I don't know. I did my eyebrows kind of dark, but how interesting to not bring it all the way across the eye. That's something I would have never considered. So there's a fun tip for you, whether you're using matte or shimmer, he said, just the top of the brow. And then that actually flowed right into the next tip, which he talked about this little bone on the side of the nose. And he talked about how you can anchor the eyes so that they don't look like they're floating. And he took some of the same mixture of the medium shadows and took this down the nose. And he was kind of doing this, just flicking it right into the brow. Now this is where I'd love to speak to the man himself, because for me, I don't have a straight bridge. I already have a shadow there because my bone goes out on my nose. It drives me crazy. So I already have natural shadow there, so I don't think this would apply to me, but I'm just gonna take a tiny little bit. I don't even know if this is doing anything, and I'm gonna follow suit just so I can show you the tip, but I thought that was interesting to just kind of blend that into the brow and into the eye, making it look connected. But yeah, again, I feel like I already have that natural shadow there, so I'm just gonna like emphasize my crooked nose. So I don't think that's gonna apply to me, but if you have a straight bridge, go hard. Enjoy. All right, moving on to brown eyeliner. You see, we're already skipping, like this is it. He left this smoky smoke there, which was crazy. I'm gonna use the Lisa Eldridge Ground Coffee eyeliner. And he said that you wanna take your eyeliner very, very thinly right onto the lashes. And he said that the further up you go with your liner, the smaller that your lid is gonna look and the smaller that your eye is gonna look. And I was like, very interesting, very interesting. And then he also said if you have smaller eyes, you might wanna avoid putting this onto the inner corner, which was great. I love to do a very thin liner on any given day. So just being reminded to apply this very, very thinly into the lashes and then blending that out, so nice. It's such an effective way to do a smoky eye without doing a whole lot of work. And he also talked about how much of a pain it was to use liquid liner and how much easier it is to use this, and I would have to agree. Now this is so crazy because I feel like I applied such a small amount, but a little bit really goes a long way, and I did my best to just use a small brush and blend that out, but I feel like I could have even gone smaller. Like I unintentionally went quite a bit higher than I was meaning to. But you can see how impactful just that tiny little bit of eyeliner is for making quite a substantial lived-in smoky eye. So easy. And then he also said that he likes to start with brown for it to be a little bit softer, and then if he wants to go in and deepen it up after, he'll then go in with a black pencil on top. Now I love how this looks, love it. Okay, then we're gonna do the same thing on the lower lash line. Now my eyes really reject putting liner in any of my waterlines, so as I'm blinking away, this has already gone onto my lower lash line, so I'm just gonna take a tiny little bit into the lashes and blend that out. Just kind of do a little wiggle. You could also do the Lisa Eldridge method where she just does little dots and then blends that out. But having some of these really small fine brushes to help wiggle it into the lashes. Like this is the Refer 23 brush. I also have the KJH X Spectrum number 18 brush. I love these small little brushes for doing the maximum blending. I also thought it was interesting that he did this after the eyeshadow. Oh, I feel like my lower lash line just went really dark there. Yeah, typically I would do the liner first and then go in with shadow, but he did it the other way around. Actually, to be fair, he was going back and forth between the two. He kind of just kept going in with his eyeshadow, doing a little wiggle here, doing a little touch there, doing a little liner there. Artistry at its finest. I'm gonna do the same thing as before. I'm just gonna take a clean little brush just to clean up this bottom. I feel like it was going a little crazy there. I was getting that everywhere. And this will just naturally give a little lift to the liner and the shadow that we've placed there without adding any new product. And then finally, we can go in with that same mixture of the medium shadows that we've been using this entire time and just blend that back onto this lower lash line. And the one thing that he said that was interesting was that he goes all the way down to the first crease under your eye. So you can see, I mean, I've got quite wrinkly little under eyes and my lines are pretty substantial. And he said to go all the way down to that. And he said it'll shorten the length of the face and add youthfulness. Do I look more youthful? And then after that, he did the face and did a few more touch-ups and some mascara at the end. So I'm gonna do the same. I'm gonna leave the eyes there. I'll do mascara at the end just in case anything goes awry, good heavens. And we're gonna go ahead and do the face with Painted by Spencer. So starting off, we're going in with a true proper contour. This is the Dior contour. And he was talking about the differences between the contour and the bronzer. And while I love to just use a little two-in-one, he was talking about the differences and how he likes to create the shadow with a true contour. And he started out by blending this contour, creating some extra shadows, creating some extra deep, fabulous shadows. And now that I'm blending this out, I realize he might have applied the foundation first, but that's okay. We'll do a little bit, we'll do a little bit of underpainting. I'm sorry, I got ahead of myself in my notes here. Even writing it down doesn't help me, but you guys get the idea. Considering how much deeper this is than my skin tone right now, it might actually be beneficial for us to do a little bit of underpainting first. This is trying to give me some chisel and erase the technique that I'm getting. Oh my goodness. And the one thing I think I just have to accept that I will never wrap my head around is how softly and slowly makeup artists work. They use such a small amount of product and build it up slowly, whereas whenever I'm doing my own makeup, I just slap everything on and blend it out and hope for the best. So whenever I'm doing makeup artist tips, I try to channel my inner makeup artist and go in with small little layers and buff them in. But sometimes I can't help myself and I just pour it all over. Anyway, I'm going in with the foundation. This is my House Labs foundation. It's not the one he used in the video, but he did use the IT Cosmetics number 7 brush, which I was so happy because this is one of my favorite brushes ever. It's so good and it just blends out and buffs everything out so easily. And I'm just gonna blend that on top of the contour. Do some unintentional underpainting, but it's okay. We have learned that from the makeup artists in the past, so hopefully we'll be forgiven. I'm also gonna take this down my neck and perhaps onto my chest and just give us a fake little warm glow today. Perhaps I will have to zip up my jumpsuit to hide my very, very pale neck and chest. Does that look like it matches better now? All right, the foundation's all blended in and now this is where it gets a little crazy. Okay, we're gonna apply concealer. I was actually really interested in trying the concealer that he used because it did look so wet and perfectly neutral, but I do love my Tower 28 serum concealer, so I'm gonna use this one now. And he talked about using a very hydrating concealer. So we're gonna apply this underneath the eyes, just slightly lower, obviously, than where we drew our smoky eye. I'm gonna do a little bit on the forehead here, down the nose. Oh my God, I went crooked down the nose, sorry. Doing tiny little amounts. Did he even go on the side of the mouth now? Oh no. Hold please. Oh, he totally applied this with a brush. Oh well, you know what? YOLO. Up the nose here. I haven't re-dipped in, by the way. This has all been from the same dip. And he went right up under the eye actually, which I don't think I realized until now. But I'm not gonna do that obviously because we've already applied our shadow and liner up there, but I'm just gonna drag it kind of along my under eye bag. Okay, and we're gonna let it set like this. How very interesting. So then he lets this sit for a minute and we go in with cream blush. So he actually used 2 different blushes. Later on, he used the Patrick Ta duo, so I'm just gonna start with that. I'm using the shade Just Enough, which is this beautiful light pink. And I'm gonna start with the cream, okay? And he's just going straight in with that IT Cosmetics brush. And I'm gonna apply that onto the cheekbone and blend it kind of all the way down my cheek, like to the apples of the cheek, and kind of touch where the concealer is. So I'm applying this little base. I forgot how pretty this cream blush was. It's so very nice. I never applied blush with this brush. It is so pretty. And then obviously automatically, if you're using your foundation brush to apply the blush, it's gonna give it that more natural look automatically because you're blending it in with your skin products, which is so pretty. Oh, sorry, he totally did the skin first. Oh well. Makeup artist tips, my version. So that's the cream blush applied. Then I'm gonna take the smaller end of this brush and use that to blend out the nose, just down the bridge of the nose. After this concealer's been sitting for a minute, I haven't ever tried this with the Tower 28. Is it even gonna blend out? Because he then takes a sponge and blends out the concealer, so. It's been sitting for a minute doing its thing. So it's really softly blending out that concealer underneath the eyes. And he just blends it onto the blush so it's nice and connected. I know makeup artists talk about this all the time, trying to make sure that everything is seamless and blended together. I do feel like this is quite a bit of product. We are getting the full soft glam experience for sure, which is exactly what both of these makeup tutorials have been. But I really love that combination of blending this out with a sponge and applying the cream blush with the foundation brush. I think that gives the ultimate natural finish. It looks like I'm not even wearing anything on my face. That's kind of crazy. And making sure that you're not wiping, you are pressing. I also just have to say, I so appreciate makeup artists who do videos like this and who actively share all their knowledge. I think there's so many amazing makeup artists who share their content online. They don't gatekeep, they don't make you pay for their things. I mean, listen, I love a good masterclass, okay? I would happily pay to go watch a masterclass if I was available to do so. But I just appreciate this. Like even the Painted by Spencer, he's a new makeup artist in my world. And his YouTube channel, his video tutorials, they're so in-depth and they're like so high def, you can actually see everything. I feel like I've learned so much even from the handful of videos that I've watched him do, and I just love that. We so appreciate you people. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with the world. I'm just gonna soften the sides of my nose here. I feel like I went a little bit cray even though I didn't mean to. And I think you can always go back and forth between the two. Just, you know, never hurt nobody. Ooh, and here's where things get crazy. Okay, we're going to go back to that Makeup by Mario setting powder. We're going to use the sponge. And Spencer did mention that under the eyes is one of the first places to crease, so we want to set that right away. So I'm going to dip into the fair pink powder with my little sponge, tap off the excess. I haven't done this in a minute. I feel like I just kind of divorced this method as soon as Givenchy discontinued their gorgeous succulent powder. So sad. But it's also because I am so dry, so I often avoid this step unless it's absolutely necessary. But he did mention in the video that if you want your makeup to last all day long, you have to set it in. And I'm like, okay. Already, like my under eyes are so dry. But that's obviously why your skin prep is so important. And he literally just took that underneath the eyes. Okay, so I think I'll just dab a little bit on my chin too, just because it kind of matches the whole thing. I feel like I just aged. That just made me look old. So that was the setting powder. Then he went in with another powder. We're gonna do the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Finish powder, and he just took this on a big fluffy brush and used that very softly on the rest of the face to set that in. So he really just focused on setting the under eyes and just using a soft brush on the rest of the face, which I loved. That's definitely not something I do for my own everyday makeup. I always use my small brushes for powder, but yeah, it makes sense. Just softly deposit that all over the face. And then on the exterior edges of the face, he used a powder bronzer to set that in. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use the same brush that we just used the powder with. Use my Charlotte Tilbury Film Star Bronze and Glow, and I'm just gonna use that to set in the perimeter of the face. And it's something that we've definitely talked about and done before on my channel, but, oh, I'm sorry, my hair is just going everywhere. Sorry, pardon. But how when you're using a powder bronzer, that's essentially setting in that part of the face. So yeah, totally makes sense. I'm just putting a little bit on my nose for funsies. I'm just using a really soft layer of that. So now we're gonna go back to the blush duo and use the powder side. I actually am fascinated by the brush he used for this. It looked really soft and really bendy, so I'm gonna use my Refer 19 brush. I just picked up the product and literally 10,000 pounds came off. Oh my. And we're just gonna really softly dust that on top. As he was applying it, he was literally like flattening the brush and it just looked so soft as he was blending that all around. I kind of feel like I liked it before I just did this, but that's okay. And then he actually didn't do highlighter because he was doing a soft matte makeup, which is so fine. I would probably go in with highlight. He also did baking. I think that you have to determine what is best for your skin type. My skin is far too dry. I think if I added any more powder under there, I would simply pass away. I'm already like creasing a little bit on the side of my mouth here. I do not need any more powder, but I am gonna go in with my setting spray. I was about to say finishing spray and then that combined. Anyway, you get it. And he even used a fan. Stunning. Moving on to lips, Painted by Spencer actually used Anastasia Beverly Hills, I think it was Mocha. Was it Mocha? Yes, Mocha lip liner, and it looked so pretty. I was like, ugh. I don't need to buy another lip liner. I'm gonna use Victoria Beckham 02 because I feel like it's the same vibe. And he took this in quite a bit onto the lip as well. And then he took a bright pink lipstick. I'm using Revlon Candy Addict, number 16. And he took this with a brush, and this is something that I've seen a few makeup artists do now, where they just take the lipstick on a little fluffy brush and just dot it into the center of the lips. And that just gives the most natural finish for the lipstick ever. And I love it. Just on the center, just, ah. And I'm also just gonna blend in that lip liner a little bit more too. Pretty. Okay, I'm gonna use my Brow Freeze gel to set in the brows because they have just been patiently hanging flaccid over here. Yeah, you heard that correctly. Okay, listen, that's it for the tips. Those are all the tips that I got from the two videos, and I feel like I could totally leave it matte as is, but I feel like we just have to finish off with a little bit of sparkle. So I grabbed the Patrick Ta, the little shimmery duo, and I'm just gonna take a little bit of this, just a little bit, and just apply that on top of the lid just to give a little bit of stardust, a little bit of sparkle. I feel like Makeup by Mario, with his gorgeous shimmers and his palettes, I do think he would approve of this move. Just a little bit, just a little kiss. Like, come on, that just makes all the difference. This is the we need better lighting duo. And I'm gonna do the same thing on the face. I'm gonna add a little bit of the L'Oreal Lumi Glass and just apply that right on top of the cheeks. But we're not gonna take it up onto the brow, which is what I always do. And we learned that from Makeup by Mario today. We don't wanna drag our eyes down. We want them to be lifted. So I'm just keeping that right on top of the cheekbone. And then we'll finish off with mascara. This is the Lancome Hypnose Drama. I feel like I wanted to use my most volumizing mascara on hand right now because we've got this gorgeous smoky eye. And makeup artists love to use fake lashes, so I'm just gonna skip that and go for an extra volumizing mascara instead. I've gotta say, you guys, I feel like I don't love this lip combo. It's looking a little bit too pink right now, but otherwise, this is one of the favorite makeup looks I've ever done. I think the eyes are like so subtle and natural, yet fabulously smoked at the same time. I couldn't believe how little of the eyeliner I used for it to have this much of an impact. And also, as my face is like soaking in, it just looks so seamless underneath the eyes. All right, let's take the hair out. Imagine my glow just doesn't work. Oh, no, she good. I feel like I'm in one of those sexy little 90s movies where I'm like a dressed up model and I'm about to go wash your car. Perhaps this was not the right attire to choose for such a video, but anyway, you guys, that's the finished look. Those are all of the tips that I learned from the 2 videos from Painted by Spencer and Makeup by Mario, and I am thrilled with the results. I will absolutely be doing this look again and using these tips when I do my own makeup, and I would love to hear what you guys think. What do you think of the finished look? Did you learn anything new today? Let me know in the comments down below, and please also let me know if there are any other tips that you have for us, any other videos that you want me to see, any other makeup artists that you want me to try looks from. I would love to do plenty of this during Everyday May, the upcoming month, and these are some of my favorite videos to film, so love learning from the best in the biz and creating these makeup looks for you. So I hope you enjoyed this look. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Thank you so much for being here and for watching, and I will see you all very, very soon for a new video, and then also extra, extra soon for Everyday May because it's almost here. Okay, yay. See you next time. Bye.